We're in beautiful Goulds, Newfoundland and Labrador. Goulds rules. My name is Stephanie Howlett. I'm the CEO of DiversityNL, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I started this back in 2020, being a consultant, looking at what can we do for businesses and organizations when it comes to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, and certainly anti-racism as well. I come from a healthcare background. I have a master's of social work. I worked in healthcare for some 19 years. I'm queer, I'm lesbian, and I'm part of the 2S LGBTQ plus community. So how do I make a difference as a person? That was really important to me as the second part of my career. So I decided to take a leap of faith, and this is definitely my passion, and I completely love what I do each and every day. So I started DiversityNL, so looking at how we make organizations more inclusive, more belonging, more welcoming from people from all different backgrounds, gender identities, religions, different walks of life, immigrants, people coming to our beautiful province of Newfoundland and Labrador. What is it that we can do better? Because there's so many different things we can do better. We can be leaders, change makers, and what is it that you're doing each and every day? I'm a social worker, as I said. I was a nursing manager in long-term care for 4 years, and I guess part of what I did there led to me doing what I do now. I had a portfolio of looking at pride and looking at LGBTQ. That's what we called it, our pride committees. So we were the first long-term care facility to raise a pride flag in all Atlantic Canada, which is pretty big. Of course, that day was raining sideways, and it was, traditional Newfoundland weather, just rain, right? So it was, small committee at the time, and, we grew that to, big, 300-400 people attending, a pride celebration, and just really embracing what it means to be a part of community, to be allies, to be supporting people. And that's how my passion grew to becoming a consultant, what I'm doing today. So that would have been back 8 years ago. Yeah. I work with organizations, non-for-profits, I work with businesses, I work with other consultants. Sometimes we do panel discussions on, could be inclusion, it could be privilege, it could be how we make our workplaces more inclusive of everyone. Like what are we doing to make people feel included? So what we find is that when people don't feel that you belong within an organization, you're more likely to leave, which is quite costly on organizations. But we haven't really got to the point of what can we do better. So what I'm going to tell you is that, people in all different walks of life, genders, from different races, that we need to start welcoming people to Newfoundland and Labrador. And we haven't always done a great job at that. Being a person who identifies as a woman and as queer and being in healthcare, sometimes we didn't always welcome people, and we don't always welcome people. So I think now is a good time to start looking at what we can all do, the collective we, to be allies, to be accomplices, and just to help people recognize that there's so many benefits in diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Find me at www.diversitynl.com. I'm on LinkedIn as well, under Stephanie Howlett. You can find me very easily as well on Facebook page under DiversityNL. Feel free to connect in by any means. I'm always interested in having conversations. How do we do better? Please reach out, whether you're an individual or a company and organization. I love Newfoundland and Labrador. Like, this is my home. Myself and my beautiful wife Carol have chose to live here, stay here. We have family here, and we absolutely love this province. We've considered leaving it at times, but this is our home, and this is where we want to stay to. I guess, but what I will say for people coming to, our beautiful province, it's not all rainbow, sunshine, and unicorns. I wish it was. There is some hate towards the trans community, towards the 2S LGBTQ plus community here. And certainly towards people who are racialized, people who are indigenous, people who are women, persons with disabilities. So, I would say just, do your research, do your homework. And as Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, we've welcomed a lot of people into our homes, certainly when it came to any travesties, 9/11, the whole come from away. However, it's come, have a great vacation, but it's not always you're welcome to stay. I've heard that many times. I've worked in healthcare, and, we didn't always treat people well. Some of our racialized folks and folks from different backgrounds, which is, quite unfortunate because, this is our talent pool that we should be welcoming as Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, living up to our reputation, but we're not fully. We have to be honest with ourselves. We're not fully welcoming as people. We have white privilege, a lot of us, and what are we doing with that? A lot of times it's hate, transphobia, biphobia, sexism, racism, homophobia, just looking at what we're doing. So I think we can do a much better job when it comes to those things, welcoming people into our province. Some of our streets, they're meant for those of us who have the abilities to walk. They're not meant for folks who are in wheelchairs or have some disability. So just look at what we're doing as people, like how as businesses can we be better when it comes to accessibility, when it comes to, welcoming your staff, when it comes to hiring, when it comes to, everything for inclusion and belonging. Like we can do better. I know we can. I certainly try to do better every day, and I certainly hope that this challenge is for all of you. How can you do better? Because we need to collectively do better each and every day. We have a lot of amazing leaders within our province, beautiful province of Newfoundland and Labrador, and within Canada. So what I'm going to say to you is be leaders. You're the ones who have to set the good example when it comes to the language that you use. There's so many different things that we can do better as people, as best practices. Look at how you're treating people, like truly treating people. What's your language? What's the conversations you're having? Use the word folks, everyone, because guys, when you use that word, not everyone feels included. It's not an inclusive word, so just try to take it out of your vocabulary. I know it can be challenging, but I know that we can do better. As leaders, as change makers, it's up to you. Who's in your organization? Whose voices are missing from your tables? What does it look like? If it's all older, white, male, cisgendered folks, you're missing out on the diversity. You're missing out on so many different people within your organization. Look at mentorship, look at sponsorship. Look at things that you can do for supplier diversity. What does that look like within your organization? The Moose Hat campaign, this is the pin that I'm wearing here. So it started a number of years ago, but this year, I guess they're at, I think it's 3 or 4 million pins, moose hide pins they've given out. So this is our indigenous folks. So, as settlers to the land, like we need to be supporting, this is all about gender-based violence. So they started by boys and young men in communities, saying that we cannot no longer stand for violence against females or those who identify as females. So like we need to stop the killing, we need to stop the violence in workplaces, in homes, against people. So, please have a look at the Moose High campaign, support it financially or otherwise by doing marches, by participating in different events that they have. It's an amazing organization. So important for us to really support our Indigenous communities and work together with one another, because I think that we are much better, stronger together when all voices are heard within this conversation. So I guess I decided to do a passion project, probably like yours. And in February, I always wanted to do a podcast. So it's Be the Change by DiversityNL. I've just had so many beautiful opportunities to interview people and get to know their stories. And I love getting to know that connectedness and the stories that we have. And Be the Change is all about what are you doing to be the change in your community, in your organization. So just getting to know what can we all collectively do to be the change.